ejaculation control, and how tantric sex hits different. So in this video, I got some notes up here because I want to make this very clear. I'm going to bring it down here. I want to make this topic very clear. I've made some other videos on the difference between how a man can become multi-orgasmic, and this is part of the path of semen retention. It would be better if it's right here so I can keep my eyes up. And how essentially that is going to help the man, in our spiritual awakening, in our kundalini awakening. We have to have this vital energy. So the semen, the sperm, has more than just the ability to create life. It is all the nutrients and condensed minerals and vitamins and proteins within the body. So just scientifically alone, we don't even have to get into the spiritual element of how the life force or the real power that a man has essentially is in a seed, and the ability to conserve that seed is going to grant you, longevity, youth, all these different qualities. Your drive, your natural testosterone will come back to life, and your drive and vigor as a man essentially will increase just by doing the semen retention practice. Now, I want to get into this video about how we have to learn ejaculation control and how we have to be able to separate ejaculation from orgasm. This is a Taoist Tantric practice. Essentially, you can check out Master Mantak Chia. He's one of the best resources I found on the internet for this subject. And some of his books, learning about how to become a multi-orgasmic man, and how for the woman, this is also beneficial because then the woman in the relationship can also become multi-orgasmic. So even if you're a woman or, watching this, then you're going to be able to hopefully glean something from this as well, and be able to share that with your partner. So stay tuned for this, because you need that encouragement and support from a partner, because in society, we've been taught, essentially this wrong image of sexuality and lovemaking and what a partnership is. Most sexuality comes from the place of lust, rather than in Tantra, in Tantric, in the Tantric perspectives of sex being a form of yoga, a union with our partner. We're meant to be in a deep bond and connection with the one that we love and the ones that we love. So whether you have a partner or partners or whatever, you're experiencing, understand that in Tantra, it's all about the love. And how once a man gets ejaculation out of the way, you can actually focus on loving your partner now. So the purpose of overcoming this lustful urge in man is one of the first things, that's going to basically, activate your kundalini almost naturally. So we don't even have to get into all the sadhanas and all the, more esoteric yoga and tantra practices like we share on this channel. You can check some of those out if you're interested after you finish watching this. Hit us up for private lessons. We have all the links in the description, and you can reach out to us and get into contact for more guidance and coaching on these things as well. But I want to make it very clear that this is all about, not just the pleasure aspect. So many people in Tantra, I'm going to put that in air quotes because people will use this word all fluffy, and it's all just about having more sex, more gratification of the senses. And that's not what we're doing here. We're actually learning how to bring the quality of the divine into our sexuality, where union is about the union of Shiva and Shakti, or God and Goddess, the manifest, which is in the womb, and then the God, or the masculine essence, which is Shiv Tattva, or the highest consciousness, which is one with God. And that is the male aspect, again, Shakti. The feminine aspect, or the female aspect, both qualities in man and woman, but man embodies Shiva, woman embodies Shakti. And that is a Tantra, is learning to see your partner as Shakti herself, and not just a body to have pleasure with. So there's that. We're going to get into the body, heart, and mind of this, ancient practice, essentially the learning ejaculation control, and then also mastering the tantric practice, which is circulating this energy, which is why yoga, mantra, all these other things are so important. Getting ojas and tejas, the fire within the body, so prana can rise upwards, and we can have that ascent of kundalini energy. So when it comes to the body, we are learning to overcome the animalistic urges of premature ejaculation. Most guys can't even last a minute in sex. Let's just get it plain. And it takes a woman up to 5 to 20 minutes, sometimes just to get warmed up, foreplay and all that sort of stuff, before her arousal is actually activated. Her arousal fluids, all that sort of thing, takes much longer than a man, where nowadays most guys just have sex in the bedroom to ejaculate, and the woman has just become used to that activity where that's the whole purpose of the sexual activity, which is why we see so much lustful imagery given to us in society, as it promotes that animalistic urge, when most of the times there isn't the true cause of that urge, which is procreation or creating another life and a child. Most of the time it's just for the pleasure and the sake of that. So understanding when we overcome as a man the animalistic urge of premature ejaculation, we can learn to last longer with our partner and actually bring them to a state of orgasm where we don't have to essentially ejaculate to have an orgasm. We can have non-physical or non-ejaculatory orgasms essentially as a man, just as much as a woman can. But this can only happen when the energy is sustained through love and then raised up, essentially the spine in the central channel and up the chakras. So we have to take the base energy of the root chakra and the sacral chakra and then learn to fill that with love, bringing that to the heart chakra. And if you can really have a full body orgasm, you'll probably feel it in your brain and your pineal gland, your third eye, as well as your crown chakra may have that tingling feeling. Anyone that's just had a very positive, powerful, sexual experience may experience this to a degree. But once we get into Tantra, it becomes a much deeper intimacy, because we're learning to cultivate again with ourselves first. So by retaining the seed nutrients, we're going to experience more longevity, more vitality as a man, more virility, which is the hormonal balance I was talking about, testosterone being naturally higher, because most guys just ejaculate every day to pornography and that sort of thing, which is the excessive depletion of their minerals, their vital fluids and nutrients as well. So understand that it is a different experience with a woman because you're exchanging yin and yang energies. So that doesn't mean that you can't ever essentially, ejaculate with a partner, but the point is to have love as the purpose of your sexuality. So now you've overcome lust by actually having this higher quality. And that doesn't mean it has to be this missionary, essentially get it over with mentality, but really a true longing and all of the basically healing is where that comes in. Sex is healing to the nervous system. It activates the sympathetic nervous system, and it's one of the best exercises. So we're sex positive here in Yoga Tantra Healing. We're always sex positive because it is that healing energy that is within everything, and kundalini is that expression. If we can cultivate that, especially as a man, then we learn to actually expand our energy. We're going to achieve our goals in life, all of our dreams and visions, and we can manifest our true self, essentially. That's what I've done, over just 12 years of quitting pornography and daily ejaculation and all that sort of thing, going on a more celibate, abstinent type of path and staying away from promiscuous relationships over, the years, and really only looking for genuine partners that actually want to grow together, because that's what it's all about. And that can be very hard to find in modern society, which is why having a solo practice until you find someone can be beneficial, because your hormones are going to be increased, and you need to actually, rather than letting this energy stagnate, in your balls, basically, you start to breathe into your testicles, testicle breathing, you're bringing it up the spine. And I'm going to get that in a few seconds. But these are the main points, is that we retain that seed, and then we can start to raise the energies through certain practices into the higher chakras. Now, when it comes to the heart, so we're starting with the body, with the root, the foundation, actually retaining the seed, one of the hardest things, overcoming your addictions, guys. I've got videos on that. Again, reach out to me for private coaching. Having a daily discipline like yoga will help you break this, because instead of going to pornography to get some release, you can go do some exercises, some breathing and meditation with us. We have those links to our Patreon for monthly lessons and individual sessions on our website, so that you can actually have a personal practice rather than getting distracted by all these things that can help you build your life and recreate it from the inside out. So check that out and get in touch with us. But in the heart of it, first you can establish this rewiring of the nervous system response from fight or flight, which is ejaculation, premature ejaculation, because you can't control the urge. Your body takes over, and essentially, the guy comes and then it's over. There's no more sex. The guy has to replenish his energy. Most guys, at least, have to replenish their energy, and that's it, and that's what most women are used to. So essentially, maybe not all, but essentially, unless they have a really great lover, Tantra is that union of our spirituality with our physicality. You don't have to be completely an aesthetic as a tantric. You can be a householder in marriage and wives and children and all that sort of thing, and still learn to be connected in your yogic discipline, as well as having sexual experiences and learning to immerse yourself in the senses so that you can actually reverse yourself from the senses, if that makes sense, which is essentially an alchemy, reversing the energy from outwards, ejaculation, to inwards and connection to divinity. This is going to power all your other spiritual practices as well. So empowering you, again, first you have to reestablish the nervous system response to a parasympathetic state. I also have a video on that, sympathetic and parasympathetic, how yoga helps us get us in that state. Even scientifically speaking, sex also brings our body to a parasympathetic state, the rest and digest, the place where our body can start to heal naturally. Obviously, we wouldn't have this response if sexuality wasn't something sacred. Rather than animals that just procreate, human beings can have a different type of experience through sexuality. And that is what we're exploring here. So you can begin to experience longer states of pleasure through your own practice, and just massaging, gently, naturally, using some natural oil, coconut oil, or whatever, and massage your whole body. Don't just be so fixated on the hyperstimulation, because learn to love the body, which is also learning to love one another. You have to love yourself like we love another. So understanding that this ripples over into your partner, the self-love and solo practice, or your partners in lovemaking. And that is essential here. That's the heart of it. Now let's get into the mind. The mental awareness that comes with of your edge. Now, if you can control your edge in ejaculation, which is learning to get to that point and to be able to stop, to let go of the pleasure essentially, and then start to breathe. You start to bring this energy up the spine by directing your mental focus from the base. There's the big draw and the microcosmic orbit. Mantak Chia's books, again, teach this subject, but it's the same thing in yoga. It's just a different explanation. We're looking at the body, the chakras, the spine, sending the energy, balancing the left and the right channels, and then getting the energy of kundalini to rise up. So with this drawing breath, this upward breath, locking the root, the muladhara, mula bandha, and then inhaling upwards, feeling that energy going up to the crown of the head, through the front eye and down the front channel. You can put the tongue to the roof of the mouth behind the front teeth. That connects the front channel. And I'm even getting the burps. As I do that, you burp, you swallow the saliva, allowing all the fluids, maybe even kind of just gently rub your chest in a downward motion. This helps the apana also begin to take place. So then all that prana that you brought up can now flow downward back into the body and into the sacral chakra, Svadhisthana. I'm mixing up my words. Two traditions at once. So just realize that it's okay to learn and make mistakes. In your edge, you may ejaculate. Don't get mad at yourself. Just learn to, try again and use less stimulation and more focus on the circulation of your energy, opening up the circuit, which again opens up the meridians, the nadis, and the different channels within the body, allowing prana to flow. You can use this energy to heal your organs, heal your mind, essentially put it into your creative works like we do in our business and our music. And you'll see naturally you just have all this creativity and inspiration now that you've withheld from this urge, but still able to cultivate it consciously. You're able to actually experience more, have more energy, instead of being suppressed in the suppressed state where someone like, even in monks and stuff, they probably experience extreme lust. Some of them experience this, they may, and instead of being caught up in your mind, physically embody the empowerment of sexuality and then raise that energy, transform it into something useful. That's what semen retention is all about. We have plenty of videos on that too. So bringing this to a closing, you need to bring those three elements together: mind, body, heart, or soul, mind, body, however you want to look at that. Coming from your spirit and your soul First, the purpose that this is going to help you connect closer to God and to the goddess and your lover and your beloved. And in that knowing, we start to actually experience what's the result? Longer experiences of bliss and enhanced orgasm for you and your partners. You can experience again the non-ejaculatory orgasm, or when you do experience an ejaculation, it's no longer this impulse, it's a conscious experience that you get to share with your partner. So understanding that is, we're bringing consciousness into everything, being self-conscious. I made the video that why being self-conscious is a good thing, because you're conscious of yourself and how your energy affects another. That's yin and yang in the Tao, or Shiv and Shakti in yogic Tantra. Understanding the masculine and feminine principles come together in sexuality to become one physically, we begin to learn how to work with those energies multidimensionally and individually, as well as together with our partners. So this is, again, what unlocks the non-ejaculatory orgasm, as well as experiencing pleasure that is more than just a fleeting experience. Because if you choose to not ejaculate and you say you have sex with your partner 5, 10, 20 times, and you're just building this energy together now, instead of constantly wasting your precious energy and your seed, now you're building this energy together. You're going to have more harmonious interactions, just an attraction as a couple, because it's building that electromagnetism, and you as the man, you keep that charge inside of you with your fluid. So there is that. In conclusion, the modern views of sex and taboo begin to become null and void in tantric union, because we experience all things from a new perspective, rather than getting caught in the mind or what thousands of years of programming and demonizing the body, and especially pleasure of the body. We learn to use what God created as something natural, as a natural experience, as all experiences can be experienced as divine. And that is the perspective of true Tantra. And if we can bring that forward, hopefully this video has been helpful to everyone out there. Again, reach out to us for direct guidance on these subjects, and I hope to see you again on the channel. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment your experiences, and I'll see you soon. Jai Ma.